Hey guys, my name is Brian, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Henry Chapman.
Hi, everybody.
And this week we're doing Recess. That's right, it's time for Recess.
Ring, ring.
I always remember Recess as that Saturday morning cartoon show that was right after... But before X-Men Evolution, but after...
Wait, but wasn't it on Channel 5? Well, I don't know if it was Channel 5 for you.
Well, for me it was WB was the...
WB?
WB had
There's
X-Men
no way
Evolution.
Recess was on WB.
WB had X-Men Evolution, and Disney, which was Channel 9, had Recess.
And then it was that weird Disney block where it was like, oh, it's in a crazy like hotel or something. I don't remember, but you remember. You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. So
that might have been a region-specific thing.
No. Yeah, we really like hotel things in Minneapolis.
Talking about Zach and Cody, because that was...
No, it wasn't Zach and Cody. It was like, because you know on the WB, it was like, we're in the Warner Brothers lot. And we're driving around on Saturday, and these are the different cartoons you're going to watch. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Okay, the Disney had one like that.
I don't remember.
It was, I don't know if it was a hotel. I should have looked it up. But it was some kind of room.
It's an apartment complex.
Kind of wacky stuff going on. And it was like, my Saturday morning. That was the song.
I remember My Saturday Morning. I remember that.
But then they led into like some weird thing. And they're like...
You know what? I think I do recall now. There was a hotel.
I think if you saw it...
No, there was a hotel and the elevator would go up and down and let you off on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Now it was crazy.
If you just triggered...
Let the records show.
Hey, who remembered the elevator? This guy.
Okay, but I just assumed because elevators are in hotels.
Okay,
so
well, you got to paint a picture.
Really quick, when you had recess, was it before or after lunch?
Well, I had recess after lunch until middle school when recess was kind of like part of lunch. Like
Wait, you had recess in middle school?
Yeah. I had recess in
did you go to school?
every grade.
No, you didn't have recess in high school.
We always had recess, and we had recess in high school.
Did you go to a private school?
I went to private school and I went to public. Well, actually, public lunch was recess. Like, you go anywhere during lunch. But in private school, we could have lunch. We'd have lunch.
Okay, that's...
For 30 minutes, and then we'd have, like, a 45-minute break period, which was recess.
In high school, we had lunch, but it was like, I think it was like 40 minutes, and we just like walk around.
Dude, that
barely
sucks.
Eat. But isn't that what you were describing?
No,
in high school?
No. Well, I mean, like high school. Which school? Because I went to multiple high schools.
I don't want to get into this with you. I don't know how many schools you went to. I went to 3. All right, like a regular human.
Well, regular. You went to 3 total in your life.
3 schools.
I went to like 7, and I never moved. So that's kind of a big deal. It was kind of hard for me.
Well, I guess regular human's 4 because college, so.
I guess so.
But I didn't have at middle school. That's unusual.
Dude, middle school recess was cool because I remember.
I don't think people out there are identifying with this.
People don't need to identify with this. This is my life. It's about
me. You accept being a weirdo.
I'm fine with that. So I had recess from kindergarten through 8th grade. My one school was it was all one school, and K through 5th, we all had lunch in the cafeteria and then recess out on like the sports field and stuff. And then later on in middle school, you had lunch in optional. You could have it in the cafeteria or you could go on the quad, which is where they put the flag poles and all that.
But you didn't have 2 separate blocks, did you?
Yes, and then when that was done, it was linked in with recess. When you were done, you just went over and you had recess.
So you're defying the logic of the show, because the show was like, oh man. I mean, the difference is I had middle school after 5th grade, but they're like, oh, recess ends after 6th grade. Gotta make the most of it.
Well, yeah. Well, no, they just have a school that goes up to 6th grade. It's not like they...
No, I'm pretty sure they were like...
Their school goes straight to college. They break the bank.
No, they were like, middle school, it's over. We're done.
No more recess.
Mm-mm.
Vince's cool brother, Chaz, he doesn't have recess. He's just got a lizard and a cool bike.
And 3D chess.
3D chess. It's a challenging game. So, anyway, what was it for you? What do you remember when you think of recess?
I just remember that was a show that I really liked, but it made me just, like, totally think my recesses, like, sucked in comparison. Like, I was like, I'm doing something wrong. Kind of like how, you know, like Ed and Eddie, they're like, oh, summer, like, we have all these great, like, exploits and, like, ventures and ventures.
Wait, was
I just
Ed
called
and
it
Eddie
venture.
just summer?
What?
Was Ed and Eddie just summer? Was that
I think
the
later
premise of the show?
Yeah, it was until I think they came back. But recess, they were like, it's almost like their recess was like especially long, or like the way it was cut was it's like this is like 12 recesses, but like it always felt like they were doing something. But I always thought that my school had a very similar kind of social class and structure that you know that recess had. Like
Well,
there was
that's the beauty of recess. It was all our recesses. Like everybody's recess is generally the same cookie cutter thing, as different as it is.
Yeah, and I think that's the best part of the show is people identify with that and they see themselves in one character.
Totally. What about that? Like the rainy day episode? That was probably the best thing where I had to step back and be like, "Oh my god, that's actually me. That is me and my school." Do you remember?
Like when they have indoor recess?
Yeah, they had indoor recess for a straight week, and the first day they're all like, "Yeah, indoor recess," which, if you think about it, sucks. Indoor recess sucks.
Oh, you're still in class.
Yeah.
Except now you're in class with board games from like the 60s.
Yeah, and
like all these pieces are missing. Let's do it.
Let's combine Monopoly, Scrabble, Connect Four, and that game with the mice.
Wait, what I think's weird about indoor recess now that I'm thinking back is like, I never remember the teacher being there.
Oh, my teacher was always there.
What was happening? She was like, I see ya, I gotta go smoke cigarettes. Because I remember we like, literally, we had a wedding for these two, like this girl, like Joanna Pinker, so I think now, looking back, probably like Asperger's or something, like had a crush on like this one of these like more popular kids, Colin Anderson, and we like kidnapped Colin Anderson, and we're like, you're gonna marry this weird girl that we all hate, and we like held a reception, and I was like, now that I look back, I was like, that was funny, but how are we able to do that? Who was the teacher?
I don't know, the teacher might not care. Like, the teacher in my school was cool. I remember Miss Miller in my 4th grade. We were playing Number Munchers, and then I got booted off the game of Number Munchers, so I took the Legos and I built Number Muncher characters out of Legos, and she kept those. She still has them at that school. I saw her a couple of years ago. She still has my Number Muncher.
I'm going to tell the people who made Number Munchers they're going to come and get you for copyright
infringement.
Sorry. Those Legos must have been really, like, just disgusting and covered in... I'm sure those Legos were, like, 10 years old.
You know what? That's not something you think about when you're a kid.
No, you're not.
Like indoor recess. Yeah. But that's funny, because in the show, the kids start to go crazy after, like, 5 days of indoor recess.
Yeah, which is pretty accurate. I never had that, but yeah.
I don't know. I grew up in Los Angeles, so we had... The worst we ever had was El Nino, which was, like, a month where we had a lot of rain. But you grew up in Minnesota. There was snow and stuff. Did you get to go out for recess and snow?
Yeah, we actually, the cool thing about my elementary school is it was on a hill, my school, so we went sledding, and they had, you probably don't know these but there's this type of sled that's like the cheapest sled you can get, and it's like, it's literally like a piece of a fruit roll-up, almost. They look like fruit roll-ups because they're red, and they kind of roll up, and then you just unroll it, and it's this piece of plastic, and it's flat. And then, so they would have those for us at recess, and when we just go sledding.
Wow.
But it was really annoying, though, because they had this rule where you couldn't sled unless you brought snow pants, and I hated snow pants, because it's pointless. I'll just fucking sled in my jeans, and my jeans will get a little wet. I don't care.
Dude, you had all kinds of problems we didn't have out here.
Yeah, it was different. But we also had
it was different. Life was different.
Life was a little different. It was a little more interesting.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. And like kids going home, kids getting sick in the snow and shit. Campbell's soup must have been a whole different thing where you lived.
Yeah, and like hot chocolate sales are like through the roof.
Yeah, we had candy canes
and ginger ale.
We had lots of candy canes, but we didn't have like hot drinks going.
You just had candy canes all year.
Oh yeah, all year long we had candy canes. Candy canes
might not have snow.
We
always have candy canes.
Door-to-door candy canes.
I mean, I thought, I don't know, the recess kind of the social structure of that show, it was so similar to mine, and it's even weirder, everyone's. You know, you think it's like, this is just me, but it's for everyone, really. But what's strange is the writers had to be way older than us. I mean, of course they were. They had to be...
Yeah, how did they draw...
So it's like, were they getting it from their kids, or were they... It had to be their own personal...
Gosh, I wish we knew more about this to look into it, but I kind of feel like it ruins the cartoon when you pick it apart that much.
Oh, yeah.
To look into it that much. But they did such a phenomenal job of not only breaking down the basic school dynamic, the group, you know, and let's go into characters a little bit. You know, you have the TJ, the, you know, dynamic kid, leader of the group. You have the Vince, who's the
Black
athletic kid. He's the athletic kid. The cool athletic kid. You have the big, chubby kind of guy, Mikey, who happened to be a poet and all
the
that
artist.
in the show. The artist.
Sensitive one.
You have the regular kid, Gus, who kind of doesn't really do anything.
But also a wiener. He's like subpar regular kid.
And he happens to have some interest in stuff. It's just, you don't care about it till high school.
Right.
And then you have the smart kid, which is Gretchen. And you have...
The lesbian.
Spinelli. Future lesbian / tomboy.
Yeah.
But that can be pretty much any group of friends. Every group of friends, you can find one character you know, can say, oh, I'm TJ. Or, oh, I'm Gretchen. Like, there's nobody in that show you couldn't compare yourself to.
Unless you're an Asian kid. Now I'm just coming off racist.
You're just Gus.
Gus was an Asian?
No, but he was the uninteresting one.
That's true. He's
until
like
high school.
An Asian is like Gus and Gretchen's like baby.
Well, you were either directly related to one of those people, or you were a combination,
right?
A composite of two of them.
Well, and that show, and also I think Ed and Eddie does that really well. But they embellish the best parts of that. Where, you know, as a kid, I'd almost get frustrated because I was like, it's not like this all the time. I want it to be like Recess all the time, the show. But there were elements that were there. It was just like, let's exaggerate it.
Well, it's weird, too. You go to years upon years of school. You have hundreds of recesses. And if you look back now as an adult, you can maybe remember tops 20 different recesses in a game you played or an event you had.
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of amounts to, like, those were the epic recesses that were worth having an episode about. So maybe they just got a bunch of people in a room and they're like, hey, what did you do during recess? I remember one of the recess events that stands out for me was once we got a bunch of kids together and we reenacted Legends of the Hidden Temple at school. And it was so cool.
How does that even work?
Oh my god, it was crazy.
Oh, because the jungle gym is like...
We had the jungle gym, we had monsters in it.
So someone was the paid actor to be like, rah, rah, rah.
Somebody was a monster.
Come out of the shadows.
I remember I was the host, but I really wanted to be on, like, do the maze. And I'm like, oh, I'll show you guys how to do the maze.
That's pretty sweet.
I was a pretty terrible host.
Well, there's always...
we also did Guts with the aggro crag. And the aggro crag was a slide. And we had two people, like, trying to climb the slide at the same time. And one of the kids fell off the slide and we got in trouble.
See, those were the best recesses because I remember probably, like, you know, first grade, because I don't really remember kindergarten. I don't think you had, because it's only half a day, so you don't have recess. But kindergarten through fourth grade were, like, the best. And then I remember being so bummed because fifth grade, everyone's like, for me at my school, getting ready for middle school and shit. And then it was all like, we play football. Like, everyone just...
Yo, dude, we don't play action figures now, we play sports.
Oh, it was the worst. And I have nothing against, because I loved it when we were playing, like, Butts Up or, like... And I guess Butts... Do you know what Butts Up is,
I know
right?
what Butts Up is.
Oh, did you guys call it Butts Up? Because I know it as a regional...
We played Butts Up, but that was because our coach called it Butts Up.
Oh, okay.
And we
other
had
people call it...
ball.
I've heard people being like, what's a Butts Up? We called it Wall Ball.
Well, that was on the show, Wall Ball.
We take the literal...
They also had Mall Ball.
Mall Ball. Mall Ball.
Foursquare was big at my school. Foursquare, when we had Tetherball, was big.
Did you go through, like, trends?
Oh, yeah, there's always
Yeah,
trends.
it's like you didn't always
had,
just
like,
play
the yo-yo,
Foursquare.
Trend.
Yo-yo.
Like, literally every trend on the show was on it at once. Mon Stickers. Actually, favorite episode of mine. Mon Stickers. Do you remember the Mon Stickers episode? Yeah. There was Mon Stickers episode and Kojimbo. Two separate episodes. Both basically a school-wide trend of the popular toy. One, Kojimbo, was like a card game. The other one was Mon Stickers, which was essentially a trading card game, but with stickers, and every sticker was currency.
I think the closest thing we had to that was Pokemon cards.
Yes, Pokemon for me was 5th grade.
Mine was 3rd grade.
And I was thinking of that when you were saying 5th grade because we weren't into like stuff yet. We were.
You know what though? Pokemon. You know what happened is I bet that would have happened, but Pokemon Tidal Wave. Because if I would have been in 5th grade and Pokemon had come out, there's no way people would be playing football because they couldn't resist.
Oh no!
That.
Everyone was playing Pokemon,
right?
Except
so
for
you
a few kids who weren't into it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Pokemon became less interesting, everyone was like, "Yeah, told you those were dumb." Yeah. And I was like, "Well, I was easily the most into Pokemon at my school. I was the first one at my school to beat it. I was sitting there memorizing like the card stats." And, like, having my mom quiz me on how much Bulbasaur weighed. 4 pounds. Okay, that's definitely wrong.
Someone's going to, like, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to get a couple of Twitter comments.
I really hope somebody gets fired for that.
All right.
Wait, hold on, really quick. Did Pokemon cards get banned at your school?
No, Pokemon cards never got banned at my school. Trading got banned. We weren't allowed to trade until after school. That took a while. I conned a bunch of kids out of cards by that point. I was definitely the TJ in that regard.
No, you were definitely the hustler kid.
I was a mix of hustler kid and TJ. I was conning kids out of their cards, tricking them into stuff. If you go back to my middle school and you ask any of them about it, I'm sure I was a character in ways that I would not be proud to admit. But